You're watching the Philadelphia Eagles right now, and trust me, there's a lot to talk about. Whether you're tuning in from the East Coast, West Coast, or somewhere in between, I appreciate you letting me be a part of your day. With the NFL draft just a day away, it's time to break down the latest headlines and rumors circling around this Eagles team. The clock is ticking, the pressure is building, and soon we'll see how this front office plans to shape the future of the roster. Thursday night, the NFL draft kicks off. That's when all the speculation, the mock drafts, the buzz, and the behind-the-scenes whispers finally give way to real decisions. The Eagles are preparing for what could be a pivotal moment in their ongoing mission to remain contenders in a league that never stops evolving. The team is expected to be active, possibly aggressive, in the early rounds, with live coverage starting at 6 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you're locked in because moves are coming, but first, let's talk breaking news. Just as expected, things are getting spicy as we head into the final stretch before draft night. One of the more pressing questions has been the team's decision on Jordan Davis and whether they'd pick up his fifth-year option. But what caught more immediate attention was the situation with Jahan Dotson. According to league sources, the Eagles have decided not to exercise Dotson's fifth-year option. That's a major development. Dotson, originally taken in the first round by Washington and acquired by Philly in a trade, will now play out the final year of his contract in the 2025 season without the cushion of a guaranteed fifth year. From a financial standpoint, the move makes sense. If the Eagles had picked up that fifth year, they would have been on the hook for over $16 million in 2026. That's a hefty price tag for a player who's currently slotted as the team's third wide receiver. In today's NFL, especially with the wide receiver market exploding, you have to be careful with every cap decision, and Philly clearly decided that kind of financial commitment didn't match the production. Let's rewind a bit. When the Eagles traded for Dotson, it was with a very specific need in mind. They were looking for a WR3 to complement the explosive duo of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, arguably the best wide receiver pairing in the entire league. To make that move, Philly gave up a third-round pick in the 2025 draft and a pair of seventh-rounders, receiving Dotson and a fifth-round pick in return. It was a calculated move, one meant to round out a receiver room that had depth but lacked a reliable third option. Dotson's 2024 season, however, didn't go quite as planned. While the Eagles stormed their way to another Super Bowl appearance, Dotson's role remained limited. With an offense centered around Saquon Barkley in the backfield, Brown and Smith on the outside, and Dallas Goedert at tight end, there simply weren't many targets left to go around. It's hard for any WR3 to shine when you're behind that kind of star power, especially in an offense that leans on the run and short yardage control. Still, you'd hope for more from a former first-rounder. Dotson finished the season with just 19 receptions for 216 yards and no touchdowns. That kind of production simply doesn't justify a $16 million payday. But to be fair, we also have to acknowledge his late season resurgence. When injury struck and his number was called, Dotson delivered. Whether it was Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee under center, Dotson made plays down the stretch. In the playoffs, he stepped up when it mattered most. Remember the first touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts in the postseason? That went straight to Dotson. It was a perfectly timed route. Hurts found his man in the back of the end zone, and Dotson pulled it down clean. Fast forward to the Super Bowl, a stage where legacies are built or broken. On one of the opening drives following a penalty, that negated a big gain by A.J. Brown. Hurts connected with Dotson again. That throw took the Eagles to the 1-yard line and set up the now famous brotherly shove. For a moment, it looked like Dotson might have scored himself. Plays like that are why it's hard to fully write him off. Yes, the stats haven't been eye-popping, but the flashes are there. When the moment calls for it, Dotson has shown up. Still, context matters. Dotson came into the league with high expectations after being taken 26th overall by Washington. He had a solid rookie season, 35 receptions, over 500 yards, and 7 touchdowns. But then came the 2023 drop-off. Dotson struggled with drops, inconsistencies, and a lack of chemistry with the quarterbacks. He caught 49 passes for 517 yards and 4 touchdowns. Respectable numbers, but not enough to solidify his role as a top 3 option on a contending team. When Philly made a trade, they were betting on potential. They saw a guy who could stretch the field, run precise routes, and provide a reliable safety valve. But with just 19 catches to his name in 2024, that investment hasn't exactly paid off. That doesn't mean all hope is lost. Injuries happen. Depth becomes essential. And in a system like Philly's, one tweak in a game plan can create a brand new opportunity. Dotson is still young. He's still fast. He still runs great routes. If he finds himself with more targets, whether due to injury, rotation, or a shift in scheme, we could see him break out. Sometimes a player just needs the right moment, the right quarterback, or the right matchup to unlock their full potential. But it's clear that the Eagles are planning ahead. They're already thinking about life beyond Dotson. And that brings us to the NFL draft. With the big night looming, it's safe to say wide receiver is on the radar. Not in the first round necessarily, but the second or third. Absolutely. The team has done its homework on several prospects. And depending on how the board falls, we could see a new name added to the WR room by the end of the weekend. A few names to keep an eye on. Jaden Higgins is generating buzz. He's a big physical receiver who isn't afraid to block and has a strong track record of production. He might go off the board in the second round. His teammate Jalen Hurts is more of a slot specialist, shifty, quick, and reliable over the middle. Then there's Elumana, a bruiser of a wideout who excels in contested catches. He's had to deal with inconsistent quarterback play, but his toughness and catch radius make him an appealing mid-round option. And don't overlook someone like Savon Williams, a hybrid-type receiver who can line up all over the formation. His hands raise some questions, but if a coaching staff finds the right role for him, he could be dangerous. The list goes on. TZ Johnson didn't post the best 40-yard dash time at the combine, but he's quicker on tape than the stopwatch suggests. Coming out of the slot, he's a yards after catch machine. Kyle Williams out of Washington State turned heads with a 4.4 flat in his 40. He's a deep threat, a route technician, and could sneak into the third round. Xavier Restrepo underperformed at the combine due to a quad issue, but he's a shifty slot receiver who knows how to find space. Jimmy Horn surprised scouts with his speed, while Aaron Smith and Shamari DK clocked in at elite times, both in the 4.3 to 4.4 range. So with all this talent available, the question becomes, when do you pull the trigger? Do you take a receiver on day 2, or do you wait it out and find a gem on day 3? The Eagles have other needs, of course. Depth along the offensive, line, reinforcements in the secondary, maybe even a future at tight end. But it's clear they're evaluating all their options when it comes to adding a new weapon to the passing game. And if recent reports are any indication, Philadelphia might not be content to just sit back and let the ball come to them. Whispers around the league suggest the front office could be looking to trade up on night 1. That's right, aggressive movement is on the table. We're talking bold decisions, big swings, and the kind of maneuvering that could shift the entire landscape of their draft strategy. With a deep pool of picks and a history of wheeling and dealing, don't be surprised if Philly makes a move early. If the Eagles do choose to move up in the first round, the question becomes, who are they targeting? That's where things start to get even more interesting. There's a lot of buzz surrounding a few high-profile prospects, and it's not just limited to wide receivers. In fact, defense might be where Philadelphia is looking to make a real splash. One name that keeps coming up is a dominant defensive tackle, someone whose skill set fits perfectly within the Eagles' scheme. He's physical, explosive off the line, and has the kind of game-changing presence that could elevate an already strong unit to another level. Pairing that kind of talent with Jordan Davis, assuming the team keeps him, or building around a new core on the interior could be the kind of investment that pays off for years. And if that doesn't pan out, there's still a group of elite edge rushers on the board. A standout name from Texas A&M has scouts buzzing. He's coming off a strong final season and is drawing comparisons to some of the league's top young pass rushers. His size, bend, and motor make him a potential steal for any team willing to trade up and take a shot. Then there's the matter of the secondary. One safety in particular, a top-ranked prospect out of Georgia, is getting serious first round attention. The concern is he might not be available by the time the Eagles pick at 32. That could be enough to push them into action. If they believe he's the guy, if they believe he's the piece that completes their back end, then don't be surprised if they make the call and move up the board. It's all about value, projection, and fit. Tight end is another intriguing spot, especially with ongoing rumors about the final year of a key veteran's contract. He's been a consistent contributor, a trusted weapon in both the run and pass game, and if the team decides not to extend him, they'll need a plan. That plan might already be in motion. There's a highly rated tight end in this draft class who checks all the boxes: physical, great hands, polished route running, and playoff experience. He'd be walking into a system that values versatility and toughness, and doing so on a rookie contract. For a front office that loves managing the cap as efficiently as possible, that's an enticing scenario. Word around the league is that one general manager known for aggressive draft day trades has already made calls to several teams ahead of him. There was even a joke tossed around about blocking certain area codes from calling the draft war room, a lighthearted nod to how frequently this GM swings deals. And you know what? It works. This is a front office that consistently finds value, makes the right trades, and positions the team to win. Whether it's moving back for more picks or jumping up for a star, they play the board better than most. Let's say the team doesn't make a move on day one. That's fine. The draft is a marathon, not a sprint. On day two, they'll still have opportunities to find impact players. Offensive line depth is a possibility. One prospect from North Dakota State has been praised for his ability to play all 5 positions. That kind of versatility is pure gold in today's NFL. Another offensive tackle from Oregon had a standout performance in the Big Ten Championship, holding his own against one of the top pass rushers in this class. That same pass rusher is now sitting high on many draft boards, and the tape doesn't lie. This offensive tackle won those reps. On the defensive side, another name to keep an eye on is a pass rusher out of Boston College. He's long, lean, and productive with a kind of burst off the edge that makes quarterbacks nervous. A cornerback from Kentucky fits well in a 4-3 scheme, while another from Mississippi brings elite straight-line speed and man coverage ability. There's depth in this class that positions the Eagles' value, and they've shown time and again that they can hit on players in rounds 2 through 4. The interesting part of this whole process is how much the Eagles have already done to set themselves up for success. They've built a roster that doesn't need to reach. They can be selective, strategic, whether that means reinforcing the trenches, finding a future tight end, or adding a third wide receiver. They got the flexibility to react to the draft as it unfolds. That's what good teams do. They don't panic. They wait, they watch, and then they strike when the moment's right. What about the tight end rumors? There's definitely something there. Speculation has been swirling that the team might look to move on from a veteran, especially if contract talks stall. If that happens, and if the team identifies a young tight end who mirrors that veteran skill set, reliable, physical, efficient in both blocking and receiving, then the swap practically writes itself. And it's not like the team will be sacrificing much. Drafting a younger player on a cheaper contract opens up cap space, allows for long-term planning, and adds a fresh set of legs to a demanding position. One mock draft even proposed a trade scenario that saw the Eagles move down a few spots, pick up additional selections, and still land their guy. That kind of move would be vintage Philly. Accumulate assets, stay competitive, and keep one eye on the future. That's the game. It's chess, not checkers. And if you've been following this front office for the last few years, you already know how they operate. They'll take every call, explore every trade, and make the move that gives them the best shot. Not just this year, but every year going forward. So now, here we are, one day away from the NFL draft. The excitement is real. The speculation is endless. And the Eagles, they're sitting in a great spot. Whether they trade up, stay put, or even move back, they're in position to make a move that shapes the future of this franchise. There are rumors, there are targets, and there are conversations happening right now behind closed doors that we won't hear about until Roger Goodell steps onto that stage. One thing's for sure, this isn't just another draft. This could be the draft. The one where Philly takes the next step, reloads the roster with fresh talent, and puts themselves right back in the Super Bowl conversation for 2025 and beyond. The pieces are there. The front office is sharp, the fans are ready, and the whole league is watching. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a surprising turn of events, Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles star quarterback, made a bold statement that has set social media and the sports world abuzz. Hurts, known for his leadership both on and off the field, revealed that he no longer wishes to play alongside Saquon Barkley, the dynamic running back currently under contract with the New York Giants. The announcement came during an interview following the Eagles' latest off-season training session. While Hurts' comments were unexpected, they carry significant weight considering the high-profile nature of both players. Hurts, who led the Eagles to the Super Bowl in 2023, has been one of the most promising quarterbacks in the NFL. Meanwhile, Barkley, despite battling injuries over the past few seasons, remains one of the league's most talented and explosive running backs when healthy. So why would Hurts make such a statement? Some experts believe it stems from the growing tension between the Eagles and Barkley, fueled by recent trade rumors. There have been whispers that the Eagles might be interested in acquiring Barkley to bolster their already potent offense, but Hurts' comments suggest a deeper personal sentiment. Many believe that Hurts is not necessarily criticizing Barkley as a player, but rather highlighting the complexities and pressures of playing alongside a highly coveted athlete with so much attention surrounding him. Hurts, who is accustomed to managing his own spotlight, might feel that the addition of another superstar could complicate the team's chemistry. This situation has drawn the attention of fans and analysts alike, sparking debates about the role of egos in team dynamics. On the one hand, Hurts' decision to speak out shows his growing confidence and assertiveness as a leader. On the other hand, it could hint at underlying frustrations within the Eagles' locker room as the team seeks to balance their roster with star power and cohesion. For now, Barkley's future with the Giants is uncertain, with talks of a potential trade to a contender like the Eagles still circulating. However, Hurts' recent comments throw a wrench into any deal involving Barkley heading to Philadelphia. With the NFL season just around the corner, the drama surrounding these two athletes will undoubtedly continue to unfold as both their futures remain intertwined in the league's ever-evolving landscape. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.